Massey, Boston,
Here.
Hutton. Here. Leahy. Here. Mendoza.
Here.
Pearsall. Here. Taylor. Here.
Quorum. I have a motion to approve minutes from the January 15th, 2025 meeting. Motion by Boston. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Hutton?
Boston,
Yes.
Hutton. Yes. Leahy. Yes. Mendoza.
Yes.
Pearsall.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Motion carried. I don't appear that we have any presentations, so Mike, maintenance?
Nothing major to present, really. We did our first water main break, January 25th, it was a Saturday. I was actually on my way to do rounds, so I got the call. I called Julian at 8 a.m. It's a 2-hour window for the locate to get there for an emergency. We had it fixed by noon that day, so we did it live. There was no boil order. Everything went very smooth for a Saturday morning. Other than that, I had a meeting with MSA this morning, trying to come up with an idea for the future work at the sewer plant. I believe that meeting went very well this morning. I'm still waiting on a email back from them on their next step, what they want me to do. Other than that, doing the water meters, getting those all situated. We're getting down there, the list is getting down there. Other than that, nothing major to present, and I'm waiting for all this snow this week.
We'll see.
That it, Mike?
Yeah, any questions?
Nice job on
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
On that
Thanks for the hard work.
sewage treatment plant wrap that you put around there.
Yeah, it looks nice.
The engineer said it's finest right there.
It looks good.
Yeah, well, how much was that?
That roll was under $100.
Sweet.
You
So
don't
it saves
use
some
a portion
money,
of it?
and
Thank you.
it does seem to help.
Good. Hopefully we won't find out for several months.
Susie?
So we're still processing through our fiscal year 24 annual audit. During that process, they questioned me about a bond payable. And so looking back through the system, Locust won't let me go back 20 years. There's no transactions on this bond payable. It's $1,000. It's been on the books for at least 20-some years at $1,000. So then I called, passed on here and said, do you have any information? You know, what kind of escheatment process do we have to go through? Any escheatment process that I've been involved in the past, you have some type of original documentation so that when you turn this over to the state as unclaimed property, they know who can claim it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the original document, so, this escheatment's gonna be a little different, but I'd like your guys' approval to escheat it to the state as unclaimed property at this point, just to get it off our books. What do you say, Bill?
I think it's probably the thing to do if you have
I believe,
no knowledge of where it came from or where it is.
I reached out to Janet, and she believes, as well as I do, that there was a leftover bond from the sewer bonds issued years and years ago, and it's just never been claimed. She spoke with some people, I believe, from Geneseo at the time, and they have never claimed it. They don't have, I mean, the coupons were all claimed, but the original bond issue was never claimed. So I don't know what to do with that. If we don't have the records, they might be in here somewhere, I don't know. She thought they might be in the fire safe, but they weren't.
What did they do? I'm sorry. What was Dave doing all those other years? Do you know? Was this something that Dave Mead, pardon me?
Dave Mead just
Dave.
carried it over. Right,
Oh.
just kept carrying it over.
So we just like to get rid of that. Yeah, do we need a motion to do that?
Is that all they need is a motion for this sheet? Okay.
Is that right? I'll write it if I had any idea what I'm writing.
And say I have no idea. Sheep.
So,
You spell the sheep.
ESCHEAT.
okay,
Yes, no, I can't spell.
I'm just now getting through my name. So how do we wanna word this to,
Well, it's really, I mean, it's a technical term, but it's unclaimed property
Right,
to the Secretary of Treasury, or Comptroller.
go to the comptroller, or, well,
Was it Treasurer?
I'll write whatever needs to be written. I just don't have any idea what that is.
right.
So,
Just say turn over that $1,000 bond to the unclaimed property per state law.
You haven't reached out to them at all and to see what,
The state?
yeah,
No.
all right.
No, because when I get the approval to sheet it, then when I go on there, there's a form that you fill out
All right.
with the appropriate information.
$1,000 is what it was, turn over unclaimed bond, $1,000, as unclaimed property to who?
State of Illinois.
All right.
I have a motion by Boston to turn over unclaimed bond of $1,000 as unclaimed property of the state of Illinois. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Pearsall.
Boston,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Motion carried. Anything else, Susan?
That's it for me.
All right. Tommy?
Tommy Leftwich Police Department. Not a lot. I'm on the backside of my recertification course, so there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Good.
Sorry, I'm not academically as fast a reader as some, and some of them I'm reading. You know, I'm sure the attorney's glad to hear that. Really, the humor of it, honestly, is just a lot of Illinois stuff, right? The fast ones are the US stuff from previous experience. I'm really good. So like I said, on the backside of that, process, as soon as I finish that, and like right now I have like a 97 average or something on the test. As soon as I click the last one, the state will get me set up with an appointment to take the actual recertification test, probably in Springfield if they don't have somebody that can come down here and proctor it, probably at the sheriff's department. And before I walk out, I'll know the score, and then it's just hit the road and start doing stuff you want me to do. So sooner than later. I wish that the process would have been sooner to get the course available to me, but there was a few things we just didn't get done before Dave left, or Chief Lair left, and some things, and a little red tape, and crossing some T's and stuff, and they're pretty obstinate. So, but either way, underway now. So, other than that, I really don't have much else to offer. I've had the pleasure of meeting a few citizens around town more as I've been coming and going, you know, just stopping here or there. So, but anything else, if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to try and answer them. That's really all I have.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just for clarification, between Dave and Tommy doing this paperwork, they've increased the length of the course.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, good, well, good.
Goodies.
I'm always the lucky
I
one.
blame it on Dave.
I'm always the lucky one.
All right. Just to elaborate on the MSA meeting this morning, a lot of that was to do with funding and community development block grants is one of the things that we talked about. getting along with EPA grants as well. So Tara and Jason are putting together some ideas and some thoughts in addition to sending the engineers out to look at our situation. So I just wanted to cover that real quick. Also had a referral from Pastor Tony for a recycle coach program that the state of Illinois is doing. I've sent an email to them, they sent a form back, we'll fill that form out and get on the thing. They'll come out and do a community education thing. And I think part of that is they create apps that you can use to help with people being able to identify the recycle needs, et cetera. So thank you, Pastor Tony, for referring that over.
I didn't even see Pastor.
Sometimes I read my email. Not always, but sometimes I do.
In the past few weeks here, we've also got a letter from the state on, or no, that was from IML on the building codes.
Oh,
Can you elaborate a little bit on that more,
I
Bill?
didn't bring that up. So you have, you have a right to have your own building code, or you can allow them, for example, commercial buildings, then the property owner and the contractor have to get together and choose what codes they're gonna use. So you don't have to do anything if you don't want to, but when you have a code, you have to have somebody as an inspector, so.
That's, and we had when we talked on the phone, I came up with incorporating state codes by reference.
Mhm.
Even in that case, we would have to supply.
Well, somebody's gonna have to enforce that.
Right.
I think there probably could be a way that you don't, but I think for commercial construction, all these codes are gonna apply.
Right.
And then.
It's even references remodeling in addition on
Yeah,
commercial
depending
property.
upon which, yeah. And then for residential, let's say the home builder and the owner get together and decide what code they're gonna use. Mhm.
So,
So
anybody have any thoughts or questions on that? I don't know that we want anything more on our
The
plate.
amount of construction you have, I don't know if it's really worth spending a whole lot of money on.
So, that's all I had. No building permits. Bill, do you have anything else?
I do not know.
Clerk?
Yeah, I just was gonna provide a brief update on the grants we've got going right now. The lead one, we've got those 100-some unknowns that we still have to either pothole or get a response from the resident as to what they have at their property or what connections we have, lead or copper, or any, whatever piping is. So we still got work to do on that. We have expended our first 30,000 of the 60,000 that we have been granted. We're hoping that we can still keep coming through with that additional 30,000 here. And at this point, all grants are still a go. They were rescinded and then they were approved again. So, so there's that still going. That's just on the inventory. Then the bad grant, they have, MSA has completed their internal review of our plans, and they have anticipate this week they will be submitting for the permits, all permits that are going to be required for it. That's about all they had. I didn't get any hard copy or any defined print of what they submitted, but that's going on. Then there's, what other grants do we have? We don't have anything else going right now, I guess.
Not that I know.
That's it.
Speaking of that bad grant, do we have any thoughts, do you think we'll be putting in the launch and retrieve stuff this year, or you think that maybe will not happen at all?
I mean, we need to know budget-wise soon what we're going to.
That's kind of what I was hinting at.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good
They haven't
question for
submitted
them.
for
I
the
don't
bids
know
yet,
what their
those.
plans are. I can reach out to them or you can.
I will,
See
but-
what Tara has to
Yeah, I
say.
don't know that they've submitted for bids, if they don't have the permits, they haven't submitted for bids, so. We were anticipating that would take at least a season to do that, I think.
Okay.
And they weren't gonna do it in the fall, because
Right.
whatever. So,
Okay.
that's, I don't know, I'll follow up. That's it.
Budget officer,
Budget officer has nothing.
right? Finance,
Finance has nothing as well.
all right. Teresa, police,
Nothing.
all right. Streets, Aaron,
I just put a copy of this in one of your guys' boxes. I got contacted by a guy from the IDOT. Floyd, you might be aware of this, but something about we have $58,720 in RBI funds available. I didn't know if you were made aware of that or if you knew about that.
Is this the same as MFT?
There's some stuff in here about being combined with MFT that I wanted to ask you about. It.
is that thing you sent out over today, or?
This, I just.
Yeah, that was, right, from what I can tell, that was from October of 2020.
Well, I was contacted by Joel because he says that it basically goes away July 1st of 2025. So if we're gonna do something with these funds, there's a pretty good explanation of what we can do with them in these papers. We need to do something before July 1st or they're gonna go away.
July first, the
The
funds.
2025 year.
This, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know for a fact, I don't know what I did with it. It appeared that that was already closed. Who was this that contacted you?
Joel Graff, the local roads field engineer from the Illinois Department of Transportation.
Is he in Dixon, do you know? Did he say?
It doesn't, it just says District 2, which I think District 2 is Dixon.
Yeah, they're in District Two.
I reached back out to him, told him I wasn't entirely sure if he'd clarify on it, and he came back and said that they're limited to road construction themselves. You can't use them on sidewalk projects unless it's included in a widening of a road. And then he gave me 2 names to contact for guys that I could ask any questions to.
Well, if this was, I don't know, I mean, this is the first I've heard of this RBI thing, so I don't know if this is something, you guys remember, Teresa? or-
Well, these community block grants, and I think that we had applied with Blackhawk, tourism thing for that, those, electric charging stations. Those were part of that same, block grant. That was back in 22. Huh?
Yeah, this is the first I've seen of this at all. When I got it, I was totally out in left field. I'm like, I have no idea what this is, so I asked him, and he just told me that he'd sent me this with it and said that the process is identical to traditional MFT funding. You must have a resolution passed that calls out the appropriation of RBI funding, and the project must be checked off as bondable. And this detail actually, or this comes out and tells you in here what all is considered bondable. In regards to our streets, if we're gonna do HMA, it's gotta be at least 2 inches thick, which is asphalt.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, there's stuff in here about traffic signals, guardrails.
I wonder if that's money that they got and have yet to distribute to,
We don't have one.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess what I was referring to was this October 11th, IDOT thing that said that this was, rebuild Illinois bond grants, and it was the 6th and final installment. So,
I have no idea.
but it does say in the bottom is a critical reminder, all allocated rebuild Illinois bond funds must be obligated by no later than July 1st, 2025, which matches what you just said. but-
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that, cause I'm gonna start looking into something with the streets. I needed to know, I wanted everybody to be aware of it, that this is available. I don't know if, I've gotta I gotta get familiar with this. 'Cause I don't-
Yeah, we don't wanna leave anything on the table.
Yeah, I don't wanna lose out on that money if we can use it to do our streets, especially with, having to hire somebody to do
They're
it.
in bad shape.
I know.
Let us know how that turns out.
I'm gonna try to be so checking out, but I don't,
You heard anything about this?
I have no
Susie?
idea.
No?
yeah, just first I've heard anything of it, so.
Okay.
It could be COVID money.
Huh?
2020 could be COVID money.
If there's, yeah, we need to grab any money we can, who knows when they'll pull it.
Just,
That's all I have, Jerry.
All right.
Yeah.
Utilities, Carrie,
No.
cemeteries, Pam,
Nope.
and ordinance, Joyce. All right. How about old business?
I still do wanna kinda get together with Mike and Aaron and Jerry or whoever on figuring out
Three of us can't.
a plan for, no, that's correct. So Mike, Aaron, and myself, or you guys, I can be out of it, I don't care. I prefer to be out of it, to tell you the truth, but Jerry doesn't have on streets what we're gonna do for, because I would like to get that something rolling, you know, make sure we're gonna have somebody to do it and so forth, so. I'm available quite often, Aaron, you're probably the one that's hardest to.
Every morning between 8:30 and 11-ish, somewhere in Headland Park.
That's all I have.
New business.
So we leave that to the end.
Yes.
Thank you.
No new business. How about visitors? Jack,
Nope, not tonight.
Jason, and Tommy, you didn't need to sign in, but you did anyways. If there's nothing else, I will, ask that we go into closed session to discuss employment of employees. Oh, we did forget something.
Yeah, Jerry, good.
Go ahead, yeah.
So I'm Bob Griffiths, live at 105 South Bluff Street, in Albany here, 20-plus year resident, married to lifelong resident. Retired from ComEd, and so if you guys need some engineer for ComEd, was a licensed electrician as well. If you guys are needing any assistance on your utility work or anything, you know, you can give me a call, you know, I'm making free for the community. Also, I've done a lot of PLC work, like for the water tower up there. So if it's PLC, I've probably worked on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Just keep me in mind on that.
Put him on speed dial. Put him on speed dial.
I want to ask Bill about a meeting of some kind?
Yes, so Bill, just a question, if we were to have a meet and greet for candidates for trustee coming up, can more than one, the existing trustees meet in a group?
Yes, two,
As-
can be two.
According to the municipal league, as long as it's for campaigning purposes, there can be more than
No, I
two.
think that's when you're caucusing, or there may be some
Caucusing.
exceptions to that.
That's-
Oh,
We
is
don't
that
have
what they're
party,
talking about for
yeah.
campaigning?
Anyway, it gets into caucusing and party action. I'm not aware of anything we could just, because you're all at large, right?
Right.
So I'd have to check. There may be an exception for that.
Okay, you can,
You have to
get
keep it limited.
Susie at the village and let
Okay.
us know that, please.
Sure.
I'm gonna circle back to my stuff, which I
We'll
saw.
invite-
Are you done it? I'm sorry, Bob.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, just one last thing, yeah. We're gonna invite anybody who wants to come to it. Not just those. Thank you, Jude.
As we were going through this, audit process, which we're hopefully getting close to the end, I know Susie just stepped away, but, one of the things that became a stumbling block, because we're getting hit hard from the state to finish this up or give them a timeline, and we kinda got blindsided by this capital assets that had historically always been part of Dave Mead and companies, audit, which, what's their names? Amen or something, Amen? Huh? Yeah, Lauterbach and Amen, they wanted extra money for that. That was gonna be $1,000 setup fee plus $3,000 annually to manage our capital assets. So Susie reached out to Dave Mead, our former auditor, and he agreed to do it, and he said for a cost not to exceed $1,000. He's been doing it forever, so we need a motion to go ahead and approve not to exceed $1,000 for capital asset management from, what's his company's name, something?
Minor,
Minor Gilroy.
Minor Gilroy Mead.
Oh, yeah, it's on the
The name's changed.
It's on here, it's on the agenda.
Believe it or not, I had to check the date again. I went blank for a moment.
That's right.
Yes, I'm sorry, that's my bad.
Are we contracting with them to do this? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
So is this like a one-time thing,
No,
Jerry, or-
I think he'll, maybe,
Okay,
he agreed to kind of do it, continue to do it moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah. This is just the asset management.
Yeah,
It's not-
they've done it forever, it's always been a part of the audit, and for whatever reason, Lauderman, just decided that,
yeah, because I
There's
gotta
an
separate
upcharge.
it out and charge it more.
yep. And which it would extend the audit, so we're trying to
And,
avoid
yeah,
that.
that,
Gotcha.
and this does affect our grants too. It has potential to affect our grants.
Did he already get theirs?
I don't think so.
They're telling us April, is that the last date that and I don't know if that was with or without the asset.
Well, that was if they did the asset management, so it's, Minor Gilroy, they already have all the assets set up in their system. They sent a depreciation schedule to Waterman, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it was missed, overlooked, whatever. But we just started discussions with them about the capital asset portion. And, if they do it, then our audit's gonna be pushed back to April. Which, is the last month of the current fiscal
Yeah,
year, which
yeah,
means,
Just in time to start the new one.
right?
Well, that's a shame because it was so much higher than we were used to paying Dave and them, that.
Try to squeeze us for another $4,000 a year, or $3,000 a year, $1,007. Anyway, if there's no other questions, I have a motion by Boston to contract with Minor, Gilroy, and Mead for capital asset management not to exceed $1,000. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Lady?
Boston,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Motion carried. If I have nothing else, I'll accept the motion to go into closed session for employment of employees. Unless you have some insurance.
No.
Actually, I would like Bill to stay for a moment, if you could, please.
Sid and Chad is breakfast this week, so you have to get up early. And if you can't come usually because it's too late, you can come early and have breakfast at 8:30.
At 8:30?
Yeah, 8:30,
What day is that?
Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know.